So Peter, you're new to the Infiniti brand, right?
Yes, yeah.
Was learning the Q and the QX
No. Actually, that was the easiest part of the experience.
Because
Yeah.
I always joke around about, I'm confused, which car is which, because
Yeah.
you changed all the names,
Yeah.
but I'm just slow is what you're saying.
No. I'm not saying you're slow. I know a lot of people are used to the the FX naming from the previous generations. If you want to think about it, the easiest way to remember is all the QX vehicles are SUVs and all the Qs are sedans.
No, I get that part.
And then the numbers, so you start off with sort of the smallest to the largest.
Yeah, it's just me, I think. Well, you decide. We're sitting and we'll start with this car first, and then we'll talk about the QX60 in a second, because we're here to test drive both, and we'll talk a bit about the Infiniti brand. So we're in the Q50, which used to be the G37.
Yes.
Now, this has been a car I've always loved driving. I think it looks fantastic, and you didn't change the look.
No, we didn't change the look because styling-wise, this car was brilliant sort of out of the box. It still looks very new even after several years in the market. What we wanted to achieve with this car is sort of bring it up to another level, and the next level was introducing new powertrains, which is, I think, a brilliant move because it allows people to, it offers people more variety when they go into the showroom, instead of just offering one engine with a vehicle that's styled great. This offers them choices and going all the way from 200 horsepower to close to 400 horsepower. So it just offers a lot of variety for people that previously wouldn't even think about the car because only one engine was offered and they weren't necessarily interested in 300 plus horsepower.
Yeah, and that was the differentiator for a while was, well, we have all of this power. Is it 320 or 25, something like that?
Yeah.
And this larger displacement V6 engine, and that was for a certain person perfect, right?
Yeah.
But now you have a 2-liter turbocharged engine, and everybody else, whether it's Mercedes or BMW or Audi or other manufacturers, that is sort of the entryway into a price point.
Yes.
And also power. So you actually have teamed up with Mercedes-Benz or Daimler, right?
Yes. So the engine, the 2-liter engine in the Q50 is a Daimler engine, and it's shared and it's actually built in one of our factories for Daimler.
So you make it for them,
yes,
and then you use it for this.
Yes, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So this is the same engine that's in the QX30 as well. QX30 only has one engine offering. We have 3 in this car in the Q50, but that engine, yes, it's a Daimler engine.
And Daimler also has that QX30.
Yes.
Is, if you squint a little, looks like the Mercedes GLA.
Well, you got to squint a lot, actually.
I don't know.
No, come on now. Styling-wise, yes, the underpinnings are, let's say, the drivetrain and engine and transmission are Daimler. But if you look at the styling, aside for a few kind of interior features which are shared with Mercedes, everything else is Infiniti.
So you were Nissan Renault,
yes,
but now you're Nissan Renault, and by the way, we do some stuff with Mercedes. Like,
yes,
this is the way it's all going. Everybody has to share costs,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's all about sharing cost and sharing technologies, which manufacturers rely on right now because everyone's competing kind of on the same level. So if you can save costs by, sharing not say the top secret stuff, but sharing things which can easily be shared, then why not do it?
Yeah, and the thing is that an engine has a lifespan of 20 years in the car business, or sometimes even more. So it's already out of the box, and it's an engine. So you can, other companies have done it. Mini used to use a Chrysler engine and a Renault engine, I believe, as well. So is this the sort of the beginning with Mercedes-Benz, or is this sort of where it's going to end up?
I can't really say what the future plans will be. This is what we're doing for now in terms of sharing technology. I'm not sure if it will go any further than this, but right now it seems to be working for both companies. To share specifically the engine.
All right, so the Q50 has that 208 horsepower,
yes,
right? 208 horsepower, 4-cylinder that is in many Mercedes products, and also your QX30. But you really up the power when you go to the new 3-liter. So the new 3-liter twin turbocharged engine isn't really the old engine at all, is it?
No, it's 85% new parts. So there's obviously some part sharing from the previous block, but the whole engine, you might consider it brand new. One, it's a turbocharged engine, which we never had before, twin turbo actually. And the other, it uses a couple new technologies which weren't offered in Infiniti vehicles previously. Electronic valve timing, for example. So there's actual physical little motor that adjusts valve timing. That's new. The turbo engines as well. So it's a twin turbo water-cooled system.
And this is 18 kilos lighter than the old engine,
Yes, correct.
which obviously helps. So you have two versions. One is 300 horsepower, and the other one is 400 horsepower.
Correct.
And it was explained in your presentation this morning that you call it Red S, is a Red Sport, right?
Yeah.
So Red Sport could also be looked at as RS.
Well, yes and no. The actual name is Red Sport 400. And this is what we want to sort of differentiate it from the regular Sport, which is a 300 horsepower car that has a silver S, and the red S actually refers to a red S on the vehicle. So they're easily you can easily differentiate the two engines by the type of lettering it has on.
Now, you're going to go again. One that was kind of like alluded to that there's going to be maybe, I don't know, as another S? Black S maybe or something?
Potentially. Like if you look at all the other sort of brands which we do compete with, they have several levels of the sport packages. I mean, you can get Mercedes AMG or an AMG package and plus a Mercedes AMG on top of that. So the direction was kind of set to maybe this is what we should be doing as well.
So is that really where you're going with Infiniti? You really want to take these German guys on and say, you've got an RS or an S or an AMG or an M car, we can do that too?
Well, this is where the performance segment is, especially for for sort of luxury performance vehicles. All of those brands have that. Mind you, they've been building it for many, many years to get to that level, but we have to start somewhere. And these sort of Red Sport versions of the cars. So there is this one here, which we're sitting in, the Q50. There's also a Q60 coming out, which offers the same powertrains and same kind of logical step up in terms of power.
And that's the two-door version.
Yes, that's the two-door.
That's a very pretty car.
Yeah. It was actually quite interesting because the concept for the vehicle, if you remember it, I think it was shown in Geneva last year, looks very similar to the production model. And this is something that Alfonso Albeda, who's the chief designer for Infiniti, wants to do. He doesn't want to make crazy concepts.
Close to production models.
Yeah, and then come up with something that doesn't really look anything like it.
Well, we were at the, let me get this right, QX50 launch in San Diego, and we got to go to the design studio in California, and he walked around that new Q60. It was one of their sort of introduction. That wasn't a full production model, but it's stunning. And he talked about what they were trying to achieve. And designers speak a whole other language, but it's just jaw-droppingly good looking is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is. It's a stunning car. We had it at the Toronto Auto Show this year, and there was a lot of interest. We actually did a couple things. So we did a VIP night where we invited customers, kind of dealer-selected customers, to take a look at the vehicle, and everyone fell in love with it.
So let's just get back to what you're going to expect to achieve with this, the one we're in here, the four-door sedan. So the 300 horsepower variant is going to be your bread and butter car, right?
Yes, yeah, that's aimed to be sort of the almost replacing the current one, which is around 320 horse. So that's where the bulk of the sales will be. And then you'll have the 2-liter, 208 horsepower, 3 trims of that, and that will be sort of the entry into this segment.
And then you have the Red Sport.
Red Sport 400, which will be the sort of the topper of the trim line. And those are really expected for enthusiasts who really want 400 horsepower. You don't really need 400 horsepower. You actually want 400 horsepower to pick up these
and
cars.
be willing to spend for the 400 horsepower.
Exactly.
All right, so that's kind of covering. There's some other stuff that we haven't gotten into with this particular car, but I want to also talk about your other vehicle that we're here to drive this week, and that's the QX60.
Correct.
And that is, funnily enough, I talked about it when I did my review. Think of Infiniti and what's their best-selling car. Yep. It's not their compact, their premium compact car, the one we're in here. It's not the small crossover. It's a 3-row, 7-passenger crossover vehicle. How come that vehicle has struck a chord with people?
I think it struck a chord because, one, we didn't initially have it in our offering. So we had the QX50, which was sort of our smallest one up at the time. Then we had a QX70, which was the really sporty-looking, the iconic Infiniti, as some people call it. It's because that's what has been recognized in Europe and all over the world. And then we had the QX80, which is just, it's a big, substantial...
truck-based SUV.
Exactly. So we had nothing sort of in between. And when we introduced that in-between model, which still has 7 seats, just as the QX80, much lower price point, and interior-wise, it's a very well-equipped vehicle. The engines are good, and the pricing point was good. That just took off like crazy.
I think one of the reasons why also is that it was a vehicle to cross-shop against the MDX.
Exactly.
And the MDX has done so well for Acura, but there wasn't really anything to kind of cross-shop it with from a Japanese brand. So now you have your product, and I think that's probably why you do well.
Yeah, MDX is our chief competitor in that segment. So I'm, looking at pricing and value, again, this is something that we always take into account, and we're trying to cut into their sales, and I think it's working because, again, this vehicle is selling like crazy. It's beating, sales record month to month, best year. And it's...
Well, I just want to get into what's new about it, and I think it's the same beautiful styling that we first saw in this car 3-4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago with the Q50 has gone into other products, and now it's on a 7-passenger crossover. And I think the execution of the styling is dynamite because it doesn't look like a crossover. It looks like a big sedan from the front.
You mentioned that it really is. Like it's subtle changes that we made, the front bumper, the headlights, the hood, and the grille sort of gave it a new fresh look. If you look at it from the side profile, pretty much looks the same, but when you look at the front and the back, it really does look just enough different to make it look even prettier than it was. And again, it incorporates all the Infiniti styling that Alfonso is trying to kind of push throughout the lineup.
I would suggest that is a product that is for somebody that wants sort of like a large luxury car. It has, when I said in my review, sitting in the front seats and looking forward, you would think you're in a big luxury sedan, not in a minivan / crossover vehicle. And, kudos to you because a lot of people don't want to feel like they're driving that.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's a stark difference when you get into, like you said, a minivan, and it just looks like a minivan inside. There's no way you can mistake it for a sedan, whereas in the QX60 definitely looks like a car inside. And I mean, it's a little bit higher, so obviously it's not going to drive like a vehicle, like a car. But I'm hoping that when you drove it, you actually did sort of experience the enhancements that we did make to the steering as well as the suspension, that it handles a little bit better. It's a little bit more crisp to drive, again, more like a car than a big SUV.
So in the past, Infiniti was a bit of a fractured brand. You had different styles for different cars. Now you're getting a more cohesive look from one end of the business to the other. And you have seen the future with all the product planning that you do. I guess you're pretty excited about what's to come?
Yes, very excited. I mean, this year is big for us with the 3 kind of new releases. So this car here, the Q50, gets the 3 engine choices. The Q60 just came out as the coupe, and that's getting great reviews in terms of styling as well as the performance going to be on par with this car, if not better. And the QX30, which is...
And when's that coming?
QX30 should be arriving mid-summer.
And that's on the shared platform with Mercedes-Benz?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That's with a GLA, correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's exciting times. But past that, are you excited?
Yes, there's some nice stuff coming out a few years down the road. But again, you mentioned the styling cues. So everything that's coming forward is going to sort of carry on with this brand image that we have now, or brand look. So all the vehicles will be exciting to look at and will be exciting to drive for sure, because as you may or may not know, in Nissan in particular is very involved with advanced technology. So they're looking for that autonomous vehicle sooner than later. So all of that is sort of getting, mixed into what a regular car is and getting pushed out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we hear a lot of some like Teslas, Elon Musk is a great marketer and they talk about all of these things, but the first car I ever saw with fully autonomous driving that could park itself and all of that was from Nissan, and you are at the very forefront of all that stuff.
Yeah, and Infiniti is sort of pushing the envelope on that because it's a luxury vehicle, so obviously we can't pack all of this latest tech into a Nissan. So Infiniti is the brand.
And the price point that you can do it at.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Peter, congratulations on the new job at Infiniti, and looks like exciting times ahead.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. To watch a full review of the Infiniti Q50, click the picture on the left.